Welcome everyone. This is the Attorney Profit Formula training call number 1. We have myself, Att0Rney on the line, Damien is on the line, Jeff
Hey
Hoff is
everyone.
on the line, and Shelby Larson is on the line, talking here about our SEO packages. So,
Awesome. Hi, guys.
all right, Damien, you've known Shelby and you've been masterminding with her for some time, and so why don't you just kind of maybe give everyone a little background and talk to them a little bit about Shelby and why she's so great, and maybe an overview of what we'll talk on this call about.
Absolutely. So I had the opportunity to meet Shelby, I want to say 3, 4, maybe closer to 4 years ago. And since then, and basically we met at a mastermind, at a mutual mastermind, and I think we attended, I want to say about 7 or 8 sessions now over the last 3 years. We're also part of another group called the Mavericks, which is wild adventures and really cool stuff. But here's where this is relevant is I've been able to follow her in what she's been doing in building these fulfillment processes and these companies and some of the things she's been doing really intimately. Like, we've been able to just tear it open and work on each other's businesses. So one of the things that I kept bringing up as a problem that I kept hearing from my mastermind students, like Jeff Hopp, who's on the phone right now, is fulfillment, breakdown and fulfillment. The more customers you get, the more challenges you get. In fact, I even had people tell me that they got to the 3rd customer and they were scared to death to get the 4th customer, And I would bring these things up to Shelby, and Shelby really just had a different process in how she ran her business. So I kept a very close watch. We had some mastermind students start to work with her in her fulfillment services. And we're just amazed. We're amazed at what she's put together with her US-based fulfillment teams that know this stuff. Shelby, you've been in this business how long now?
I've been in this business since 2007, so I'm in my 8th year.
Okay,
Been a
excellent.
while.
And you've helped, hundreds, if not thousands of entrepreneurs be successful in this model, right?
Oh my gosh, so many. Yeah, fulfillment is probably the number one. Well, the 2 complaints I always hear from consultants are, how do I get my clients in the first place? And then once I get them, oh my gosh, how do I keep them? Right. So we solved the how do I keep them part.
So what we've now been able to do, and I wish I would have done this a year ago, honestly, but better late than ever, we're here. And we've been able to put this product together and featuring Shelby's fulfillment team and resources as your main solution to getting these deals done that are going to start paying you $2,000-3,000 a month, and Shelby's company is going to do all the work for you. So I'm really excited to have you a part of this program, Shelby, and be a part of the Go Mobile community. Real excited to be doing this training too, so that everybody can start to get the feeling of what it is, the magic you bring to the table.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and I just want to encourage you, and we'll go through, this is very informal. It's for the members that are attending. This is for you. So I just want to encourage everyone to, whatever burning questions you have, ask them. I would love to talk through it. What I want is everyone to walk away feeling super clear about what we offer, what we can do for you, for your clients, and to just have you feel crystal clear on how the whole process works. So along the way, at any time, please just ask your questions. We'll tackle them.
And speaking of questions, we are going to be very interactive, so make sure you open up the chat panel on the GoToWebinar control panel, which is all the way down at the bottom. Just expand that there, and we'll be answering questions that you ask in the chat role as well as on audio. So, and we're also joined by Jeff. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How's it going?
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Great to have you on.
Thank you.
Att0R, if you want to maybe announce Jeff's role in the mix too.
Yeah, so obviously I think everyone in the program now, if you've been going through the videos, you know Jeff, and you know that he's kind of the organic traffic guy, and I'm the PPC, paid traffic guy. And so yeah, Jeff is that's really what we tried to do here, is bring the best of all worlds to you, to give you your own lawyer agency here. So Damien's got the mobile apps and mobile websites, which he'll talk about a little bit later, which will be great. Really looking forward to that. I'm glad you could share some information on that later on, Damien. And then I got the Google AdWords, and Jeff is doing the organic, and Shelby is doing the done for you fulfillment. So really, as you can see, we're bringing together really a full team to give you every service that you can provide to these lawyers, to really have your own lawyer marketing agency. So yeah, I'm excited, and I think let's get into it. And Shelby, I think we wanted to start with you and talking a little bit more about fulfilling. So yeah, why don't you take it away, and maybe we'll stop with some questions in a little bit.
Awesome. I'm so excited to talk about this because Damien and I, like you said, he's been, talking to me for a long time, but he takes his members very, very seriously about the type of services that he's willing to offer you. And so he, we talk, we must have talked about this for a good year before he decided to work with me, which I really respect because I feel like that about my members too. I only want to give them the highest quality things. So I am super stoked to be here. So how we've kind of worked it with the attorney program is that we have a couple of different options or tracks that you could go on, and obviously you could use any of them, but I'm going to talk about the 3 different ways and what they're designed for and how you can use them to your benefit. I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the setup package, and then this is going to coordinate with the if you have a brand new client that you're onboarding. But if you have a brand new client, we have the setup package, and here's why this is so the way to go if you have a brand new client. A lot of you probably understand that SEO and organic marketing has gotten really complicated in the fact that it used to be a little more cut and dry about what you needed to do in order to outrank your competitors, right? And with the changes over the last couple of years, it started off with Panda, and then it went to Penguin, and then we had Hummingbird. And Hummingbird's so interesting because instead of it being a basic, algorithm change, it's actually the new algorithm period, and everything else is part of Hummingbird. So Hummingbird is now the search platform, and then Panda is an update to that, and Penguin is an update to that too, right? So that was really interesting when that came out last year, because that means this is the first time Google's written a new platform, I think, since 2001, if I'm remembering correctly, a lot of years, right? So this is definitely the future and the way things are going. And what we've found with that is on-site content and how you're optimized on-site is really, really critical and important. And so setting yourself up so that you can get some sort of upfront retainer, followed up with a monthly reoccurring, is really going to benefit you and your client the most, because if we can take the time to really make sure that they're completely optimized, and this is local business, so it goes a little bit further than just on-site. So it's their basic website, it's their citation presence, it's how their Google Plus local pages optimize, all those things. We can take the time up front to really get those into a good place. Then you're going to have a higher impact for a smaller budget long term. So that's going to go a long ways towards seeing a jump quicker that makes them really believe in your services and your ability, and then keep them long term because you're able to get more results with a smaller budget, which is really important. So everything that we do in this setup package is designed to just really set those vital things in place so that you're successful long term with them. And I'm going to talk about, because some of you may not have set yourself up so that you get sort of a bigger upfront payment, and B, you may have a client you're already working with that you've maybe had for a few months, so you no longer have that upfront payment, and so how do you work with that, right? So I'm going to talk about that too. And please, I'm not the one that sees the question, so whoever's monitoring that, please feel free to interrupt me at any time, and I'm happy to answer that. If you have questions about something I'm saying along the way, just totally interrupt it and let me know, because I'm happy to answer those.
Yeah,
Great.
you know what, Shelby, real quick,
Yeah.
there is a question, and maybe this is a simple kind of way to start. So
Sure.
Sarah's simply asking, how do we get the SEO services set up for our clients? So I guess maybe you want to walk through the whole process, so they do their prospecting, someone's interested. Let's maybe walk through that process, maybe step by step then.
Sure, super good question. So by the time you get to me, right, by the time you get to where I'm useful for you, you've got someone on the line that you either really want to close or you have just closed, and now you're like, okay, I've got to make an impact, so I keep them, right? Especially if it's your first client, it can be really intimidating, like so exciting, you got your first client or you're about to get your first client, so now what do you do, right? So that's kind of where I come in. So if you are prospecting someone and you either are trying to close them, which we have an option to help with that too, that we're going to talk about here, or you've got them closed, that's when you're going to come to the attorney website and go to the pages where you can order our services. Basically, you're going to see a simple form. It's going to ask you some super basic questions. It's literally going to ask you things like, who is the client? what's their URL, what's their bid. It's really just got a couple simple questions, and then it's going to ask you for your credit card information to pay for the package, right? As soon as you submit that, you land over in my sandbox. And we have a lot of fun in my sandbox. One thing that we are known for, and I know Damien mentioned that we do things a little bit differently, and I'm going to talk about that because we do definitely do things a little bit differently. We're very white glove. You have your own project manager that's dedicated to you and your clients. You have, so you'll never actually need to go to a generic support box when you go through this program. You have anyone who touches your account, you have access to them directly. So that's really, really nice. One thing that we have heard a lot of complaints about other fulfillment services that we listened to and corrected was just that they, they never, didn't have enough communication. It was hard for them to figure out what was going on. So once you get in our camp, we reach out to you, and you get introduced to your project manager directly, and we get you set up with that level of communication. So you have a personal, dedicated project manager to yourself, which is really great. And our project managers are top notch. We only staff top notch people. So that's how that's the whole process begins. Is you're going to go to the Att0Rney website and click on, as soon as I have those links, I'll share those to you. So let's talk a little bit about the setup package and what we do with that and why it's a little bit differently. So the setup package is the only thing, because when I go to talk about our reoccurring, how we work with you reoccurring, it's completely different. Whereas the deliverables in the setup package are pretty much set out in advance for the most part. Everything we do in our company starts with these, it says SEO evaluation. It actually changed the terminology on this to marketing evaluation. I just haven't changed it on this document because we are very holistic. We don't believe in, SEO is only one component of what we do now. It used to be that we were an SEO firm, but in order to stay cutting edge with the search engines, we had to evolve as they did. And that's kind of how it is for any marketing firm or SEO firm. You have to be able to change in order to stay cutting edge and to provide top-notch services. And that's what we've done. So we're no longer an SEO firm, we're a marketing firm, and SEO is one thing that we do. We do it very well. We've been doing it for a very long time, but it's just one part. So this is the most popular thing in our entire company, hands down, which is why we have an option for you where you can buy just this at cost, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So,
and real quick, Shelby, just to clarify, a couple of people just are just trying to clarify the price points that you're showing on your screen, and the price points of $750, $1,500, and $2,500. They're asking if those are the wholesale or their wholesale prices, or if that's what they should be charging the clients. Just to clarify.
That's what they pay us, and then you mark that up for the client. So
right.
I don't have so the setup package is $1,250 to you. You should be very easily charging $2,500 for this. If you're trying, you can mark it up however you want. If it's someone that you're good friends with, or you're closing someone a little bit cheaper than usual because you're getting your first couple clients under you, you could just mark it up to $2,000 or $1,800 or whatever you want. But you legitimately can sell this setup package for $2,500 and feel very good that they're still getting a really good discount. We do a lot of crazy stuff in this setup package. So this is definitely your price.
Okay, great. Yeah, one more question here that just came in. This is a really good question, and I know that selling PPC services, I use this to my advantage, but I know that selling SEO services. So the question is, a number of prospects that I've approached have had a poor experience with SEO in the past, having spent a considerable amount of money on it and seeing very little results. They're therefore skeptical. So kind of like, how do you overcome that, or are there any like examples or anything like that, what would you recommend? Because I think that is pretty common these days. There's so many, people that don't do it the right way, like you do, and so now that's become an objection that these people have to overcome.
Super good question. That leads into what makes us so different. Because absolutely, one of the number one problems that local consultants or marketing consultants, however you whatever terminology you use for yourself, one of the biggest things that they run into is that they usually clients, especially ideal clients like attorneys, everyone wants an attorney because the LTV of any client they bring in is so high that you only have to attract a small amount of business to be extremely valuable for your costs, right? So attorneys, chiropractors, doctors, dentists, these are the ones that are hit up the hardest. They're constantly under a barrage of people saying, we want to do SEO for you, we're going to get you, make you so much money, blah, 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 and a lot of them have been burned. And so you're oftentimes walking into an already skeptical environment. So the most important thing is when you're working with the client is to present yourself as a marketing professional. Do not present that you're going to do SEO for them, especially because this is local search. You will stand out if you don't say that you're just going to do SEO. SEO is one component of what you do for them. And also, what's really great about this particular objection is that it leads you directly into talking about how you're going to work for them, which is when they tell you, oh, people did SEO for me and here was their package and nothing works, and that's why you tell them, that's why we don't sell cookie cutter packages. No marketing can be authentic if we don't dig into your market and create a plan that's viable in your market with your level of competition. Even an attorney in Los Angeles is going to have a DUI attorney in Los Angeles is going to have a very different environment to market in than a DUI attorney in Boise, Idaho. It's just very different. And so you are going to walk in being authentic, saying, you're right. Anybody who's offering you a cookie cutter package saying these are the deliverables we're going to do for you, that's not authentic. What we do is we walk in, the first thing we want to do is completely evaluate your situation. What is the current state of affairs for your presence online? What are your citations and local factors look like? What is your on-site optimization, especially in accordance with your keywords that you want to market for? And P.S., are you marketing for keywords that attract buyers in that browsers? We should identify that. Are you marketing with buyer intent in mind? We're going to look at that. Who are your competitors? Do you have an attorney in the same town that has an active marketing team that is actively trying to outrank you the moment you rise above them? Or are they just sort of going with the whim of the search engines, and so once you outrank them, you're not going to have to fight to hold it as much, right? All these things matter, which is why this setup package is so important.
I was just going to say that I think that's the perfect answer, and that's why the SEO evaluation or the marketing audit process is in place. You're going to differentiate yourself by identifying the holes in their existing online presence and the mistakes or things that the other company didn't do for them. And so when you quickly, a lot of SEO companies they've worked with have not been transparent. And so in the beginning of the process, when you show them the things that were not done for them and why they didn't get results from the previous campaign, then you can really tackle that objection.
Absolutely, and it's why you'll see when you go, and after I'm done explaining everything we'll do, we'll go and look at the website because I have those links now, but this is why, and it's actually been a complication for me too, because my clientele are consultants, right? And consultants are used to buying for X amount of dollars, I get these specific services. For X amount of dollars, you're building this many citations, you're doing this many backlinks, and you're going to write this content. Like they're used to paying for a deliverable, a commodity. Commodity makes me less valuable, and a commodity makes you less valuable. So this is beneficial in more than one way. It gives you a USP, a unique selling proposition above your competition. It makes you completely authentic with your marketing, and you stop commoditizing yourself, which gives you better margins, right? So this is a win in every way, except for it can be more complicated selling it. It can be more complicated for me to sell it to you, and it can be a little bit more complicated for you to sell it to your client, only because for the very fact that you're not saying, here's a list of 25 things I'm doing for you for your money. Instead, what you're saying is, let's establish a budget that, that is acceptable for your client, and then we'll take that budget and every month do the things that are going to be the most powerful and have the most impact for you that month. And I say by that month because sometimes you walk in and all they care about is a specific competitor that they need to outrank for some stupid term that doesn't matter, but that's like what they really want. Like you get that. Or they're like, you know what? I don't really care if my phone rings anymore. I've got my phone ringing enough, but I need to be number one in the map box. That's what they care about. Or you come in, they're like, I don't care about the map box. I need 3 more clients to be walking through the door, right? Everybody you walk into has different ways of measuring success. By having an established budget, you get to go in and say, okay, what's most important to this client? What do I know is most important? And what things can I do with this budget to make that happen the fastest, right? So working with a budget is so much more professional, more authentic, and gives you the power, gives me the power to do more. And I even had to, you can ask Damien and Jeff, I flew to California and went to go mobile, even to like show them what I meant, because it was hard to wrap your head around. You just want money from me, but I'm not trading that for specific services that I know, right? Like it can be complicated, but it's so much better. And I actually think it's more difficult for me to convince you that it's better than it is for you to convince your clients, for the very fact that we just talked about. They've already been burned. They already want to know how you're different, and you're walking in saying, this is why I'm different, right? So what we're doing is when we establish that budget with you, whether you're paying us $500 or $750 or $1,500 or whatever those three numbers are that we'll look on the website, we're looking at that and going, awesome, okay, that's the money we have to work with. You're working with your project manager very closely, right? We figured out what's the most important thing to do with that money, and then we map out a campaign that makes the most sense to accomplish those goals, and we have the power to change it every month. If something changes, an algorithm changes, and all of a sudden something unpredictable becomes very important, we have the power to shift our strategy to focus more on that, because that's what's important to Google now, right? If your client has a big major merger with another company and it's a really big deal, and so now they need to hurry up and rebrand and market on this new name, we have the power to completely shift the focus of what we're doing to make that happen, right? If they get some penalty online, we have the power to shift the budget to take care of that. So that's where the power of this system is that you set the budget with your client, and then we use that budget to establish the campaigns that make the most sense. Now the flexibility. Are there any more questions, or should I kind of go over
a couple real quick, some stuff I just want people to be clear of too. So someone was asking, like, for beginners, will you help them like pick the right keywords and do all that kind of, basically, do they have to come up with the keywords for the client? Or?
Oh, no.
Okay, right.
We will help you, and here's why we're completely incentivized to help you. If you're marketing on keywords that aren't going to lead to buyers, you're not going to keep your client, we're not going to keep you. We all only win if we establish very successful campaigns. And because in this particular program, you're all focusing on attorneys, the keyword research is primarily already done. So the difference is different attorneys focus in different areas, so we know the keywords associated with their particular areas. So then we look at what is their current presence for those keywords, what kind of competition do they have, and what do we need to do to set that up. And a lot of what we're doing through this setup process, when we do this marketing evaluation, what we do is we get in there and we really look at just how they're set up in their market. So specifically their website, their keywords that they should be marketing on, their citation presence, and their Google Plus local. Those are the big, like, heavy hitter things that we look at, right? We do a lot more, but that's like, those are the heavy hitter things. And a lot of times what we identify is that they, especially in the hummingbird environment, if they're trying to work on DUI, attorney, San Francisco, or whatever it is, they need to have a page written on their website for those keywords. And so a lot of times what we end up doing in the beginning is writing pages for their website so that they will be able to outrank their competitors and catch more of the leads online that are looking for attorneys for that particular thing, right? So the eval is the core of everything, because in order for us to create authentic campaigns that are going to have the impact that you need for your clients, we need to evaluate and understand what the current picture is and what the level of competition is. So that's the first thing we do. And then we have this whole fact finding stage. And this is exactly what you're just talking about. We do some keyword research and analysis. We look at, what's important that they rank for, not only from a sales perspective, but also for branding. And then what do we need to do to really ramp that up? So we really, we take the time, just like you talked about, just like you asked about, to research that.
In the meantime, too, there's another good question. I don't know if you're still finishing the last one, that's fine, but just another one. This is a good question. They're asking, are there any required time frames for services, or would you say would you recommend they go for a 6-month contract, or just do it month to month? I know that's obviously, you can do whatever, everyone can do whatever they want, but like, what would you recommend as far as, and I guess it all depends on the SEO evaluation, but yeah, like, how, if they want to say to someone, how long do you think it will take to see results, or should they be signing people up for at least 3 months or at least 6 months, something like that?
Right. So I would say every consultant that I talk to, when you're coming to a new client, it can be difficult, and maybe Jeff, you'll have more experience in this. I find that my consultants say it's very difficult to get a long-term contract right out of the gates because they've been burned before, and they're scared of being roped into something for a really long time when they don't know how you can perform. I think it's very, very reasonable to ask for an upfront setup fee and the 90-day contract, because within 90 days you can fully convince them that they should stick with you forever. So I think it's very reasonable to ask for the setup and 90-day contract with the caveat that at 90 days you're going to reevaluate. And at that time, I think that you're in the position to either set up a longer contract, or you're safely going to be able to continue with them month after month. A lot of people also find that at that 90-day mark they can up the monthly budget because they've been doing such a great job. So I feel like just out of the gates, a setup with a 90-day contract is super reasonable, because you don't want them to leave after you've put all the money into the setup and then 1 month of work and haven't had the time to show the power of what you've done. So I feel like a 90 days is very reasonable for them and for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. Even if it is a month-to-month contract, they need to have the expectation that it's going to take 3 to 6 months to really get results. And they need to understand that their competitors are working every month to outrank them. And so, they're going to have to continue putting out the effort and doing the right things if they want to get to the top and stay at the top.
Absolutely. And I truly believe, and please argue with me if you disagree, Jeff, but I almost believe it's more important for you to be on the same page with your client about how you're measuring success than it is to be on the same page about what you're actually doing for them. Because if success to them is, I don't know, people walking through the door, and then the fact that you just soared to the top of the map box means nothing to them because they have no understanding that that means anything, right? So understanding how we're measuring success and what success is so important to establish when you're working with your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point. And figuring out how are we going to know when we're successful, rather than just giving them a list of these are the things that are going to be done. What do they really want to achieve, and go after achieving those results for them. You're going to have happier clients than just sending them work reports and saying we did the work, but you didn't get any return on it.
Exactly. So when you have a new client, getting them through this setup process is a really good option. Through the setup process, we go through, and you have the information. You guys have it. You guys have the same document on the website. But we go through and we take care of everything. Not only do we look at how their on-site is, but we look at their Google plus local page and get that and make sure that that's optimized properly. We look at all of that. And we look at their citation presence. But what's really important that I wanted to point out that's different, so all this stuff is super basic and easy and blah, blah, blah. You're probably not going to have a lot of questions about it. What's really interesting is that we take a portion of your setup budget and we withhold it specifically for this. After we evaluate everything, we have a certain portion of that budget set aside to do what makes the most sense. So for instance, maybe we identify, wow, they have a serious power keyword that they do not have a page dedicated to, so we want to write that page. Or maybe we realize that their website is completely static and they have no fresh content whatsoever, so we want to use that budget to write a bunch of blog posts that can be posted over time so they're not just a static page. Or maybe we realize, they really need a social media campaign. Let's use that budget to establish a social media campaign, so we start really leveraging that, right? So we have this part of the budget for the setup that is for that and for fixing the things that the marketing evaluation comes back and says, oh, red flag, you don't have this, or this is broken. Or sometimes we get these beautiful sites that have these beautiful graphics all over it, and not a single graphic is tagged. So when the Google spiders crawl that website, they have absolutely no idea what the website's about. So we'll go in and do image tags and all the images, right? So things like that, we're looking to fix things so that they're not understanding, why am I not ranking? We had one recently where almost all the wording on their website was actually an image. You can't tell that by looking at it, by reading it, but it's actually an image. So when Google scanned that content, it wasn't a content, it was an untagged image. So it literally had no idea what the website was about, which is why it wasn't ranking for anything. So we're looking for things like that as well, right? Putting you in a good position. Then when we go to the reoccurring campaigns, which is where we establish the budget, this is when it gets really fun, because after we've done the setup package, this is where you establish the monthly budget with your clients, whether it's at the 500, the 750, or the 1500, which, by the way, you can be marking up however you are comfortable. So the difference in how much budget you give us means three things. One thing is how aggressive we can be. So obviously the more money that we have to work with, the more that we can do at one time. The other thing is the types of things that we can do. If we identify with your client that they'd really benefit from types of campaigns that would use a lot of unique content, and that's a more expensive thing to do, right? Or you want to do some really cool infographics because we've identified that would have a big impact in their market. It just allows us to do some of the more expensive stuff if we have a bigger budget. So there's more aggressive marketing, there's more expensive things, and then there's just the fact that we can just do more keywords at one time, right? So sometimes if they're in a super competitive market, because attorneys in different areas are more competitive in different areas, then it might take a lot more budget to have the exact same level of impact that another attorney would have in another market. This is why those marketing evaluations are so important for us to do, so that we can identify that, so that when you work with them, you can accurately speak to the results they can expect. Because there's nothing worse than telling them, from your professional opinion, your team's opinion, we can expect X, Y, and Z, and then you fall way short because that wasn't actually the case for their market, right? So that's why this is so important. So the difference in getting the bigger budgets, obviously, other than you having more profit, it just reflects what we can get done for that. So some of the things that we do, I put services we often provide. We obviously do so much more than this because Google changes all the time. Marketing trends changes. Opportunities pop up, and we see them, we lasso them, and we do them. And when you're working with us, how this works is every month we sit down with your project manager and we say, okay, this is what we'd like to do this month. You sort of green light that. And then you get reports at the end of the month that shows, and there's different kinds of reports. It kind of depends on the work that's being done. For instance, if we do work on the Google Plus local page, you're not going to get reports for that because everything we did is clearly visible on the Google Plus local page, right? But if we build citations for you, you're going to get actual live links to those citations so that you can see that. So there's different levels of reporting. If we're providing ranking reports, you're going to get that for the keywords that we're working on. So there's all kinds of different levels of the types of reports that you get based on what type of work's being done that month, right? So if we do a press release for you, it's a different kind of reporting than if we do a citation run. So when you get set up originally with your project manager, he'll let you know what type of reporting you can expect to get, because just like everything else we do, it's custom and it depends on what we're doing for you. So they're going to work with you and make sure that you're okay with everything that we're doing before they get running each month. Marketing evaluation we already talked about. SEO campaigns, there's a lot of different ways to do these. Another thing to answer a question previously asked, if they're having a really hard time with the word SEO, first of all, you should present yourself as a holistic marketing solution, especially since you have the mobile solution covered in this program and the pay-per-click advertising covered. Really, between what we offer and the other services offered, you really are a holistic marketing solution, and you should present yourself that way, and you should present yourself as if you have a team, because you do. Just because we aren't actually W-2 employees for your company doesn't mean that we're not your team and that you can't leverage us that way, and you should leverage us that way. So we do a lot of, if they don't like SEO, obviously holistic marketing, specialist and local search is a really good word to use, but also a really big buzzword right now is content marketing. Everybody's all up in arms about content marketing. And when you say content marketing, the average person might just think written, but that's not true. Content can be video, it can be podcasts, it can be images, like infographics, right? Content is in a lot of different forms. It can even mean social media, right? So, say content marketing campaigns designed to build your brand, reputation management, help you
Yeah.
outrank your competitors.
Yeah, can you
That's
talk
what I'm
about that a
asking.
little, Shelby? Can you talk a little about
Sure.
that? Because you're not just SEO, you're also, I mean,
No, not at all.
social media and reputation, which are huge things. I can tell you from
Mhm.
experience, a lot of the attorneys I work with, they get, let's say they get one bad Yelp review or something like that, and then it's ranking for their name. So I mean, I mean, there's a huge potential I know, and especially with
Yeah,
attorneys, their reputation is so important for them.
so important.
So yeah, I mean, they'll pay big bucks just to, let's say they have a few testimonial videos and some other good stuff, and you can get that to rank on page one whenever someone Googles their name. So if you could talk about that, and then also social media, because every attorney, the big ones that I work with, they're always like, yeah, I don't know much about social media, but I know that everyone else has it, so we need to have it. So they know that they all
Yep.
know that they need to have it, and they all know that they need reputation. So maybe if you could talk a little bit about those two services, and then what if you were selling those as standalone, potentially what you might charge, something like that.
Sure. So first of all, some really good verbiage to use. Again, SEO is a little bit, first of all, it's completely legitimate, but it has positive and negative connotation in your prospects' minds. And so you have to be mindful of that. So one of the things that I like to say to them is, yes, search engine optimization, people may have done a poor job, but that's because, all they were trying to do is cookie cutter packages. The other thing I would love, something that would establish you a lot of credibility in your client's mind, especially the average attorney tends to be a little bit more intelligent than the average person, or at least believes they are. And so therefore they are may challenge you a little bit more. I would love it if they say, I want to rank, if you ask them what their goal is, and their goal is, well, I want to be on page one of Google, I would submit that that's not true. I would submit that that's not actually their goal. And this is something that I've been doing a lot lately. I ask my clients, do you want to be on page one on Google, or do you want more phone calls and clients? What's actually your goal? Because I can get you on page one of Google all day long. What's your actual goal? And then when they stop and they back up, they're like, okay, well, I want to add X amount of dollars to my bottom line, or I want X more phone calls coming in, or I want this many more clients. That's actually what they want. Well, we might identify 6 ways to make that happen that have nothing to do with being on page one of Google, right? So that's what you really want to get to the heart of. Like, yes, we want you to be on page one of Google for your main keywords also, but the reason people want to be on page one of Google is because they want to make more money, they want to get more business. And so oftentimes we identify ways to make that happen quicker. It has nothing to do with ranking on page one of Google. It can take time if you're in a competitive market to get on page one of Google or in the map box. And it's legitimate if that takes time, especially in the new environment. If someone's trying to claim that it doesn't, they're lying. And so if we have ways to make those leads come in while we're taking the time to get ranked on page one, why wouldn't we prioritize that, right? So I think that builds a lot of credibility too. I mean, ask them, what do you want? What do you want out of a marketing consultant?
Yeah, and to further that point, and I think that this is really when you're dealing with, I guess, like you said, professionals that at least think they're more intelligent, like attorneys, or think that they're more higher ed. I'll tell you one thing: if you're just going to be, a yes man or a yes ma'am, where you're just like yes, 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 yes. Oh yeah, we want to get to. Okay, yeah, yeah. Let me see. Sure, I can do that. Or and you're just kind of like saying, they're not going to respect that as much as if you say, well, actually, here's the truth about it, or here's what I recommend, or I think you should actually do that, or what do you mean by, get on the first page of Google for what? Like, what's your real goal here? Things like that. And when you can really start to, don't be afraid to challenge them. Because they really, they may know when it comes to, passing the bar exam, they may know all that information, but when it comes to marketing, most of them have absolutely no clue. And the funny thing is, in speaking with a lot of them, they're all like copying each other, what the other person is doing. Nobody knows what they're doing, so they're all just like copying each other in circles, having no clue what to do. And that's mostly with like their other type of marketing. With organic, they really have no clue when it comes to like these types of services. So you know more than they do. So go in there with that confidence and challenge what they're saying, unless what they're saying is obviously completely accurate. But challenge what they're saying, and really you're going to get more credibility by doing that. I'm very outspoken with my attorney clients, and they really appreciate that I'm not just saying, and I'm not just an order taker. You know, every other ad agency they ever used in the past was always just some order taker that didn't really understand much about marketing or teach them anything about marketing or guide them in the right direction. Just said, okay, that's what you want. Yes, I'll do that. Okay, you know, so yeah, that's a good piece of advice. Just want to chime in with that.
Yeah, and you know, here's just a really good example. I have a long-term client that I have a really good relationship with, so we can do things a little more outside the box with him. But he has an attorney in a college town that specializes in DUI. So as you can imagine, it's a pretty good place to be in a college town. And he paid us to do a really wicked awesome infographic about, the DUI attorney thing. And what he did is he had that turned into postcards and made a connection with a local cab company that picked up all of the college kids and had those cards in the cabs and had them in some of the local bars and things like that. And we just started this process, so you have to ask me in a couple of months how that worked out. But that's a really good example of how he really impressed that attorney, because the attorney is like, well, I'm in this college town where DUI is very lucrative, but we need to reach college students. How do we reach college students? And they're like, well, through conversation, they all take the cabs and they all go to the bars. Great. What can you do to help me reach them? And we kind of came up with this little thing. So that's part of the advantage of having a budget versus a commodity, right? If we identify some really big opportunity that is a match for your client, not everybody's going to be in a situation where they have that kind of level of trust with a client where they can kind of guinea pig something, right? But the point was, he did have that situation, so because of that, we were able to go above and beyond and do something for him that he couldn't have gotten from a regular outsourcing service, right? So that's just my whole point. I mean, I can go through and explain all the different things that are in this document that we do for you, but the really important thing is your client needs to understand that you actually know what they want, and they have to trust that you have the ability to get it. And so I would submit that most of them don't really give a care what you're actually doing, assuming it's all on the up and up and legal and not, shady, as much as they care about the results that they're getting. And so being able to explain how you work differently than all the other guys that are trying to sell them a commodity, we build these backlinks, we do these press releases, that's going to be a better situation. And so you were talking about social media and selling them independently. So I had to think about that for a second. So sometimes people want to sell direct, specific services. So we definitely provide those specific services, obviously. But what we would do in this situation is, for instance, if they want a social media campaign, what the budgets that we have set with the attorney program, right? They're $500, $750, I can't remember, $1,500. So what you would do in that case is you would work with your project manager and say, hey, here's the thing, I have this, client on the line, or I have this prospect on the line, and then what they really want is social media. So, and then what we would do is we work with you and say, okay, so at the $500 level, here's a campaign that we could put together for you. That would be social media. That's the things that we could do it. At a higher level, this is what we would add in, right? So that's again, the flexibility and beauty of having these budgets set, is then we can sit and work with you and say, hey, okay, if you're going to close them at this budget, here's what we can do for them in the social media realm. Or here's what we can do for them if what they're really wanting is reputation management, right? I mean, honestly, all these companies want reputation management, and they don't even actually know what they're asking for. They really have no idea. And there's like 5,000 different ways to do reputation management, right? So if they're asking you for reputation management, you say, great, we can do that. Let me get back to you. And then you come and talk to us with your, to your project manager. We look at their company and we put together reputation management. And that sort of brings me to the third fact. So the first thing that option you have through the attorney is to do the setup package with us, and then after the setup package, we move into a monthly recurring marketing budget, right? The second option is you skip the setup because you don't have that budget with them anymore because they're an existing client or whatever the circumstances is. In that case, we just start with the monthly recurring. We still do the the marketing evaluation in month one, and when we identify those red flags or those holes, we wrap those into the monthly service packages over time. We identify which things are priority, which things can be done over time, and we just, again, the beauty of having a budget, right? So ideal if you can go through the setup. If you can't, you can go straight into the monthly recurring. We'll still do the evaluation and wrap those services in that are important, the ones that are important. Third option is if you have a client or prospect, sorry, that is just skeptical and is interested but skeptical, and you're not able to close them into a upfront package or a 90-day retainer. That's where you go in, and on one of the pages we sell just the marketing evaluation for seriously dirt cheap. None of us make any money on it. So literally it costs to you, and the reason is because I can tell you, so I have another company besides this outsourcing one, which is a really, really expensive high-end marketing firm. And we do marketing evaluations for both of those companies at two very different price points because they're done differently. And 100% of the time across two companies, if we can get them into a market evaluation, it leads to work. 100% of the time, that has never not happened. So because of that, when I was down there working with Jeff and Damien, I said, we need to offer this as a standalone because you can use it to close your client. I can't remember how much money it is, like $100 or $150 or something like that. Someone who's interested in you is almost always going to be willing to take a $100 risk or $150 risk, whatever it is, because what you're going to hand them is so valuable. The truth is they could take that and hand it to their internal team. They could hand it to a different outsourcer and get the work done, and it will tell them what they need to do to be competitive. But our history tells us they won't. They'll actually use you. And so we actually have some clients now that's been so powerful, they'll even pay for it out of their pocket because they know they're going to close the deal, and then they just sort of reimburse themselves through the reoccurring retainer that they set up with that client. So our regular consultants now have no problem pulling that money out of their own pocket in order to take it to a prospect they haven't closed yet, just because they know that it's going to close that prospect. Now, to just sort of back that up, I wouldn't do that for just any client you want to close, right? This is someone you have to do your due diligence. You've identified them as a prospect. They have some level of interest, but you just need a little something more to get them, to get them comfortable and trust you to at least go into a 90-day thing. Never had a failure on that so far. So that is a super, super powerful tool for you, and it's why we offer it at cost, because we know it's going to lead to more work for you and more work for us. And so getting them into that is a really good option if you need something to help you maybe close the deal.
Awesome. Jeff, did you have, so Shelby, did you have anything else that you wanted to go over or add right now?
So I think the only other thing that Damien wanted me to mention was we did sell a super awesome bonus. And I can't remember if you were on the phone when Damien talked to me about it. He's like, Shelby, I really want to make it awesome for my members. A lot of them are nervous. They're closing their first client. Do you mind if I offer a bonus where we'll help, if they can get them, on the phone, that you'll talk with the client and help them close them. And I said yes. I said yes. But you really should take advantage of that, because I've never offered that before other than to my really high-end paying clients. And one thing that's really great about me, I do not believe in teaching on theory. I'm not comfortable teaching on theory. I want to have done it or have professionals on my team that have done it, and I'm teaching from experience, right? So I don't go into local businesses and sit down with attorneys and close them. That's not what I do. But getting on the phone and explaining their presence online versus their competitors and identifying what they're actually trying to do and what we could actually do for them and how we can help them, I'm phenomenal at that. So you should use me. If you're scared to talk to your client because you're new at this, you're not sure how to represent this, I'm not sure what the process is that Go Mobile has set up. They've got some sort of process for this bonus. I will help you do that. And I may be insane for saying yes to that, so please take advantage of it, because if I can help you, get on this path to be successful, I would love to help you with that.
Awesome. One other thing real quick, and then I think Damien is getting ready to come on and talk a little bit about mobile apps and mobile websites and selling those services and kind of the difference between mobile apps and sites and everything like that. As many of you know, Damien and Go Mobile Solutions have tons of mobile app resellers and have actually published over 1,300 or maybe it's 1,500 apps now total to the App Store. All being, and those apps were sold typically on average for anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a pop. So you know, so he'll talk about that. Obviously, with the you know, over 1,500 apps sold or whatever it is at that price, tells you that there's a huge market there. And obviously, with attorneys being very affluent, you know, that's a great market that, you know, to go after. So we'll talk about that. Damien's going to get ready to come back on that. Real quick, Shelby, one more thing for you. Damien was actually asking earlier, I don't know if it's possible, like, I guess when you're talking to, well, I guess they'll have you, if they take advantage of the offer of having you help them close the first client over the phone, but kind of like just maybe some sort of like strategies, or when you're talking to someone over the phone, kind of what you would say, or how you would do that conversation if you were talking to an attorney over the phone, or trying to close the sale with them. And I know that most of what you do is fulfillment on the back end stuff, but any advice, or like how would you see the flow of that call going with that lawyer?
So I would hope that by the time you get to that conversation, you have a decent amount of information about their, you know, their URL, their level of competition. You know, so you want to be able to have enough information to speak to it, right? And if you're a local consultant, you specialize in the area that you're in. And the one thing that's nice about this, if you are doing, you know, doctors and dentists and plumbers and all that, then that's a lot of data you have to gather. But if you're specializing in attorneys, you should have a fairly good feel for the level of competition. And so I think, you know, asking them some basic questions and just saying, you know, this is what I'm seeing. Presenting yourself exactly like we talked about. Do not present yourself as a commodity. Present yourself as a holistic marketing solution. Why you're different. When they tell you, oh, I've been burned, say, absolutely. I'm sure that you have, and here's probably why that happened, and here's what makes us different. And then again, I really feel like the thing that has made people like attorneys stop and listen is when you ask them, what are you actually wanting from a marketing consultant? What's your ideal situation? And then show them that you understand that what they actually want is more people walking through the door, or more phone calls, and that you have the ability to make that happen in 6 different ways, as opposed to just a one-trick pony walking in and trying to outrank, you know, their competitors. That to me is more powerful. And instead of fighting against what they're saying, agree, like, absolutely. And that's how, this is how it makes us different. We utilize an entire arsenal of tactics, some that are SEO related, some that are local search related, some that have to do with your branding. We identify opportunities, we stay cutting edge, we work with Google, you know, all those things. I think that's what, those are the kinds of conversations you want to have that stop making you a commodity. When you're a commodity, they can price you against any other commodity. When you're no longer a commodity, but a professional voice that has their best interest in mind, that's the best way. That when I talk to clients for my consultants, that's what I do. I speak to how we can help them get ahead in their goals. I don't speak as much about outranking this or backlinking that. I speak to what are the things that are going to make them money. They know being in the map box, they know outranking, they know getting people onto their website. So we speak to ways to make that happen instead of pigeonholing into, oh, well, you have to do that by getting on page 1, or you have to have this. We try to keep the conversation based around that success point as opposed to what you're actually doing. And I think that has been, for me, when I talk to the clients, that's been a more successful approach.
Great, great. One more. Let's see. So someone actually has a question about the project manager. So
yes.
And how that works. So basically, now they're asking, does the project manager take care of content gathering from the client? But you guys are actually creating the content in most cases, right? Or is the client in some cases creating it?
There's some of both. For instance, there's one monster form that if we're ever going to build a citation for you, and in 100% of the case we're going to be building citations for you, we just have to get a lot of data. And in the past, the problem is that would hold up progress, trying to get the consultant to fill it out. They have to get information from the consultant. So now what we do is we have some data people on our team that go through and pull as much information as they can off of their Google Plus local page, their current website, you know, things they find online, they fill it in, then they hand it to you to check the information that's already there, make sure it's accurate, and then fill in the holes of the stuff we couldn't handle. So we do as much as we can on our own. The things that we can't get are, native files of images and logos, and sometimes all the information that we need isn't, present online. So we do definitely assist where we can. But when it comes to creating content, usually we're creating that ourselves, and with attorneys, because they're such a professional niche, oftentimes they feel like they need to approve the content before it's posted, which if it's on their website, I actually fully support that, because they actually have legal responsibility for presenting things accurately, right? So there's sometimes some back and forth in that, but for the most part, we take care of what we can.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's a big thing too when you're dealing with lawyers, and the fact that they're, they want to, obviously by law, I think they have to approve the content or whatever. So I mean, that's a big thing, and that's, that's why we're really happy that everyone is using you for the outsourcing, and not some, like, some other overseas outsourcing, resource that, where the quality of the content is not going to be as good. We know that the quality of the content with you is going to be good, and of course you're always going to have the super picky attorneys. That's just a part of the game.
It's a pain. That's just part of it.
That's just part of it. But for the most part, at least people are going to save themselves a lot of trouble by having your people create the content, and the quality of the content will be much higher, which is very important. It will help avoid a lot of the back and forth. So that's great.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time and a place for overseas providers for sure. Attorneys are not that client. Attorneys, insurance agents, things that have, the FCC and the FTC and things like that tracking them, not probably good to use overseas outsourcers on, for sure.
Okay, great. So anything else? If Shelby, do you or Jeff want to add anything else? Otherwise, we will see if Damien's ready to hop on and talk about the mobile app and mobile website stuff.
Yeah, I have nothing else. I just encourage you to reach out to me if I can help you, and start working with us. You'll be a fan for life.
All right. And so everyone, just so everyone knows, in the members area, in the resources section of the members area, under the marketing services tab, is where you can find a lot of Shelby's information. The videos describing some of these documents that she's been showing you today, as well as where you can contact her to get the outsourcing package started, when you have a client that's ready to go. So that's all there in the members area for you, and yeah, we appreciate you. We really appreciate you hopping on here today, Shelby, and helping everyone out. And yeah, that's great. We look forward to it, and take her up on her offer of closing your first client for you, because it's going to be really valuable to have her on the phone to do that. So so yeah, Damien, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right.
Good job, Shelby. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Sure thing. My pleasure. I'm excited. I told them how hard it was to rope you into, because you only want to bring in the best for your people, and so I'm just excited.
Yep, and I'm real excited that you're involved in the program. I've already heard some great stuff from some of our resellers, so we are definitely getting off to the right start. So
good.
All right. Cool. Well, I'll just go ahead and take over now, guys. This is my favorite part. I'm very passionate about mobile, huh? You guys probably all know that now. And I'm real excited about mobile for the legal market, because first of all, we love the legal market because they have bigger budgets. We love the legal market because they're already spending, in a lot of cases, a lot of money on advertising, and in a lot of cases, bad advertising. We call them failed attempts at advertising. I love the legal market because they're very big on credibility, and they're very big on their personal and the image of their firm, their personal image and the image of their firm. And it just boggles my mind that we're sitting here at 2014 and we still have lawyers, let's just specifically talk about lawyers, that still have a website that looks like crap on a mobile device when everyone is using their mobile devices today. 5 years from now, I don't even know if we'll be talking about desktop computers anymore at all. And what I'm hearing in a lot of the big rags and trade publications and some of the events that I've gone to about mobile, it's all about mobile first now. there are firms, companies, new businesses that are starting, and as opposed to the traditional methods of calling up a web designer, spending about 10 grand, waiting for about 2-3 months for a website to be created, they're going mobile first. A lot of companies are going mobile first. They're building their mobile presence first, and then offering a desktop option as the secondary option. So that tells you a lot. But then still, the market is massive. It's wide open. And you have a lot of lawyers that, even though their image is important to them and the way they look to their clients and credibility is important to them, it just still looks terrible. So this is where it opens up a huge opportunity for us and a huge opportunity for you to get into these discussions that Shelby's been talking about. I'm going to show you how you can effectively use a strategy that I like to call the 1-2 punch, and I'm going to show you directly how that's going to get you more clients buying more of these fulfillment services for you, where you'll be making the $2,000–$3,000 a month per client. Okay, so these days it's all about mobile. By the way, this presentation, I just grabbed these slides. This is a presentation that I gave last year. I did modify it with some new stuff, but this is something that I gave at the local summit that we had out in Colorado. And I wanted to use this because it really shows the 1-2 punch well. So first of all, we're going to talk about the mobile landscape, why mobile for local businesses. I'm going to whip through some of this stuff because some of this stuff I'm not prepared to talk about today, but I am going to answer a big question: mobile websites versus mobile apps. That's a huge question I'm sure many of you have on your mind right now. This is a massive global opportunity. We're going to talk about the 1-2 punch. All right, today's consumers want their information on the go. I'm sure you can relate. We're always on our phone looking for what to eat, where to go, what to see, who to hire, what lawyer to hire. We're researching the information on the phone. 4 out of 5 smartphone users use their smartphone to shop. Let's just go through some of this stuff. Mobile payment transaction values topped $235 billion in 2013. 93% of all buying decisions start with an online search. Would you imagine that 93%, I'll just use that number, would you imagine that 93% of lawyers are chosen that started with an online search? I mean, does that make sense? I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not digging through the phone book looking for a lawyer. I'm digging online and learning about the firm and what they're all about and how they can help me. And because I'm always on my cell phone or tablet, that's where I'm doing it. I'm sure you can relate. All right, so now 90% of all local businesses, including lawyers, still do not have a mobile presence. The critical first impression, this is very important for lawyers. 85% of the smartphone owners use their device for research, like we talked about. 40% immediately go to a competitor's website after a bad mobile experience. Some business owners, including lawyers, don't even realize they're doing business with their pants down. What I mean is, if you go show a lawyer who's spending a lot of money on advertising, if he hasn't seen what his website looks like on a mobile device and you show it to him, you've just showed him that he's doing business with his pants down. And I don't know about you, but if that's me, I want to fix that right now. And that's what mobile can do for him. All right, mobile consumers search, review, research, and they take action. Powerful mobile online presence is a huge competitive advantage in this mobile world we live in today. Let's talk about apps versus mobile websites. Mobile websites are what come up first in the search results. Okay, if I'm searching for a lawyer in Newport Beach, California, the mobile app's not going to come up. I need to be specifically searching in iTunes for lawyers for the mobile app to come up. And by the way, I can very well search for a lawyer in Newport Beach, and using those keywords in the iTunes or the Google Play market, lawyer apps will come up. But for the most part, the world, okay, is searching online, and mobile websites are what come up first. What happens is Google detects that the searcher is searching from a mobile device and will help to redirect the traffic from the desktop site to the appropriate mobile site. Mobile websites and landing pages acquire new customers. This is really important because, just picture this. The mobile website is your customer acquisition tool, and I'm going to get into how the mobile apps is your customer engagement tool. And it's very different, very, very different, and they both play different roles. Mobile apps retain customers through powerful engagement. What does that mean, powerful engagement? Well, when you have a mobile app for your business, let's just think law firm, your clients, your prospective clients, your previous clients, they can download your mobile app onto their most trusted device. So now you're branding yourself on their device. Now you've opened up this new media channel where push notifications can be sent if appropriate, testimonials, videos, information, bite-sized chunks of the information about the law firm can be accessed. And there's really cool features too that I'm going to get into that work well for the legal market with mobile applications. But the main point here, mobile sites acquire customers, mobile apps engage with your customers to retain them. Mobile applications. Now, this is not a lawyer, but I'm going to show you some examples that are not lawyers so I can make a point. You see that QR code? A lot of lawyers know what QR codes are. A little bit older technology on the mobile scene, but it's still something that's heavily used. How many times have you seen billboards with lawyers' heads on it? You've seen billboards, you've seen TV ads, you've seen magazine articles and law firms promoting themselves. What this does is it provides a new way to capture your audience, okay? So for instance, if I have a full page ad in a magazine that I paid $10,000 for the month and people are just flipping through pages, well, there's people that might need a lawyer that get to that page and they might read it and then that's it. They go to the next page. What the QR code opportunity presents is, more info or some hook. And again, we got to get creative in thinking about the most appropriate hooks for lawyers. But when they scan that image and they download that app right onto their phone, they are now connected with that lawyer and that law firm for the time to come. It wasn't just this, I'm a passerby flipping through the magazine, boom, I heard the name, I see what they do, and then I moved on. No, I've now downloaded their app onto my mobile device. So really what it does is it helps become a way to get more, well, it's basically a way to get more results out of the advertising that they're already paying for.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just had an attorney ask me as well, like, oh yeah, we want to put those QR codes on all our business cards for, and there was another attorney, a big attorney in my area who actually had a TV commercial and had the QR code, said like download our app, and had the QR code on the TV commercial, and my little cousin, she went up to the TV and scanned it and his app got downloaded to her phone. So a lot of it too is they want to be up with the times too. Lawyers really want to be up with the times. If you say a lot of lawyers these days have these QR codes that they have on their business cards, and then people can scan it and they have a presence on people's mobile devices. It's and things like that. They might say, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'd like to have a QR code. It's almost like, oh, you don't have a QR code for your business. You don't have a way that people can just scan this code and have you on their phone at all times. Like that's that's a lot of that's something that a lot of businesses or smart businesses are doing these days. Is that you want me to help you with that? Right? I mean, that's what they want.
Right. And I hate to say it, but I mean, there's a coolness factor. I mean,
right.
The lawyers are pulling the trigger on mobile applications because they don't want to be one without, once they understand the opportunity. But there's a coolness factor. Hey, I've got a mobile app. Real estate agents, same thing. They love this. They love to put their face right smack on a mobile app. So do lawyers. I know what you're probably thinking right now. You probably have a question like, I just don't see why a lawyer would use a mobile app. Is anybody on this call thinking that? I mean, let me just give you one example, okay? If I'm an auto accident lawyer, personal injury lawyer, something along those lines, would it be really cool to have a lawyer in your pocket, so to speak, where maybe the hook is, a lawyer in your pocket? If you get into an accident, open up the app, click on the camera feature, take a picture of the evidence, and send it to us immediately. I mean, that is essentially like a lawyer in your pocket. Again, evidence back and forth can be exchanged very easily and sent right to your counsel. These are features that really make sense. There's a microphone feature where they can click on it and ask questions to the lawyers. I know some lawyers that are now starting to charge, for the questions they receive through a mobile app that are initiated from the microphone, monthly service. So there's all kinds of different things that you can do. That's just a couple of them. So engagement, all of that stuff that I just mentioned, that's engagement. Now, push notifications, this is very effective. It comes to your mobile device just like a text message. They're read 97% of the time because they're the most intrusive. They pop right up no matter what you're doing on your device. And obviously push notifications are more suitable for like a restaurant or lower ticket type sales, because you could imagine sending push notifications for 2-for-1 drink specials or 50% off your entree, or ladies' night free, things like that make a lot more sense than a lawyer sending a push notification about 50% discount on prices. Yeah, I get it. It's not necessarily, the right feature for an attorney. However, a bankruptcy firm that I've done some business with in the past, they used mobile application to send out push notifications to people that wanted to hear about their estate sales. Through bankruptcy, what they would do is they would get a hold of these estate sales, and there were very rich people that wanted to be on that list to receive a message when there was a new estate sale and new stuff that they could take advantage of. They wanted to be first in the know. That's another great use for a firm to use push notifications. And also, I just want you to know that the way the push notifications work on GoMobile's new hybrid platform is when people download these apps, they can choose which class they want to be in. For instance, if a practice has 4 different areas of law they practice in, then their audience will want to assign themselves to a certain class so that when the push notifications come out, they're directed to the intended audience. So if it's personal injury, family law, and business law, then you can have 3 different audiences that will receive 3 different messages. And that's important with push notifications. You need relevant messages going to the intended audience that they asked to receive. Loyalty promotions, not so much for attorneys. Big upfront pops. This is key. $2,000 to $5,000, and very appropriate when we're talking about the legal market, because we've talked about they have bigger budgets to spend. GoMobile can build them for you for only $300. Now, all of you that are on this call right now have the bonus that I threw in, which were 3 mobile websites and 3 mobile apps. I encourage you to kick this business off now and leverage the mobile websites and mobile apps. You see the value here. We charge $300. That's $900 in value that you can charge $2,000 to $3,000 a piece. You can make $10,000 off those 3 mobile applications, and you can take the 3 mobile websites and use them as bait to land those clients, and that's what I'm going to show you next.
And Damien, real quick,
Yeah.
Brian does have a good question, and I know this is part of what you were clarifying, is so that he's saying right now they offer mobile sites. Now you're saying we can offer mobile apps, and I think he's inferring about the difference between the two and some of the different uses. And I know, like for example with a mobile app for a personal injury attorney, which is probably the biggest niche of attorneys out there, and one of the most lucrative. For a personal injury attorney with a mobile app, they could have a capability for someone who maybe just got in an accident to take pictures right there on their phone and submit it through the mobile app, right? So they have a camera. They could have what are some other different features that a mobile website wouldn't have that a mobile app would have? So I know like the camera and submitting pictures, and then
well, the push notifications is a big one. Again, if you find the appropriate hook and use case for push notifications, then that's something mobile web does not do.
Well, yeah, and the thing about push notifications is I know for some of my attorney clients, they want to send out email blasts every once in a while. It's push notifications, it's kind of the same thing. If you're going to do an email blast, so for example, if you want to offer so one guy is wants to offer 50% off loan modifications, for anyone who calls in the next 7 days or something. You can offer that via a push notification as well. They want to do a referral program. Hey, we'll give a $200 gift card to Target or whatever to anyone who refers us a new potential client who's push notification. Hey, anyone who's been in an accident, we'll give you a $200 Target gift card. Let us know who they are. Things like that, right?
Yeah, and let me point something out. I mean, those are very good examples. What you just did, we do a lot at GoMobile. Like, we sit down and we think about use case, because that's important. Because if you're not nailing the use case, then you're creating crap. And you got to make sure that it's useful for the audience. And you'll be surprised. focusing on the legal market, you're going to get better and better and better and better. You're going to come up with really good reasons for law firms to use push notifications, to use mobile web, and to use mobile apps. And you're going to get better and better. And you know what? You'll brainstorm with them, and they'll give you great ideas on how best to use those services. They know what their audience wants to hear, and they know how to induce their audience, and they know what's important to their audience. Once they understand your tools, they will start to tell you some of the ideas on how they probably want to implement it. You'll also learn from that. But yeah, just like Att0Rney did, he just came up with those right now. You know, we can all do that. You just got to think about the intended audience and why would they care. So
right.
Go Mobile resellers have earned over $2 million. This is a conservative figure offering mobile applications to local businesses. And I got to tell you that the prospects for this to be, you know, over $10 million over the next couple of years is very high, because what's happened now is our resellers are selling more mobile apps today than when we were 1 year into this business. We're 3+ years in this, 3.5 years in this business now, and we're getting more sales from. We had people join 3 years ago and hibernate for 2 years, show themselves back up saying, you know, when I first started mobile apps, I wasn't able to make any sales. I was getting people looking at me like I was talking Greek. They really did. It was an abstract concept for them. They just couldn't get it. Then 2 years later, I just had a wild, a wild thought to go out and test the market, and holy crap, I couldn't believe it. It's like the market caught up. I mean, these are conversations I'm having with resellers who were let down in the beginning because the market wasn't ready. Now they're going out and they're closing more deals. People are, what I like to say is the awareness is at an all-time high, because every big brand you know now is advertising on television about their mobile app. Think about it. I mean, think about all the sports, the NBA finals. You know, we're talking about their mobile app. The draft was talking about their mobile app. I mean, these are things that everyone is watching. They're learning that mobile apps are available. So what's happening is they're more receptive to the conversation. It's not such an abstract concept to them. They can see it. In fact, they're one step ahead of you in some cases, and they're already saying, you know, I've been thinking about getting a mobile app. Can you do this, this, and that? So anyway, we really think that this is going to be a very strong next couple of years here. All right, here's an example. I just took the screenshots. I increased the size. It's not the true screenshot, but just an example of how to use the camera, how to use the microphone. These are just two features. This is an app that we created for you to be able to use as a generic app, for you to be able to show the concept of how to use apps. By the way, as we get more app sales, we're going to start sharing more screenshots in the training site, so that you can have a portfolio of apps that may not be yours, but might be Go Mobile's or other resellers that you can at least use as your portfolio.
Yeah, and these are great. I mean, I love that. The camera is great. I mean, there's many different things, you know, with regards to a camera. Whether someone's injured and they want to take a picture right there and submit it through the app. That's a great one. To ask a lawyer, they just tap the mic and they just, you know, send in a question. It's a great way. You know, a lot of people are intimidated. You know, that's a great thing that lawyers could be using, is say, hey, download our mobile app and ask us any question you want, you know, by tapping the mic, you know, in the Ask a Lawyer section in our app, you know, something like that. That's really cool. People want to ask lawyers questions, and they don't want to sit there waiting on hold or get the runaround from the secretary or whatever. This is a really, those are really great use studies that could, you know, give them a lot more of a personal touch and better relationship and land more clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Ask a Lawyer can be a premium feature they charge for. You know, so this right here, this is like having a lawyer in your pocket, and I have to give credit. By the way, that's trademarked by Michael Elf, one of our mastermind members, and he came up with that having a lawyer in your pocket concept. And it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. These are engaging features. All right, now this isn't lawyer, but I do want to whip through some of these really quick. We have done event apps as well. This was an app, this was an event that I spoke for. We sponsored the app, and I got to tell you something. This is an amazing solution for this business model. Think about all of the events across the country, across the globe, that are directly targeting lawyers, law firms, managers of law firms. Okay, if you did some research right now, I guarantee you on Google, you start typing that in, you'll find hundreds and hundreds of options of events, regional events, national events, global events, where 200, 300, 400, 1,000 lawyers are all getting in a room learning about best use practices, learning about marketing services, learning about, and in this case, what if you were to sponsor a mobile app for one of those events so that you can get yourself in front of 200, 300, 400, 500 lawyers? You pay Go Mobile, $300 to build this app, and you sponsor it, and then you don't have to pay the 10, 20, 30 grand to get a booth and a speaking slot. And now every single lawyer and every single manager who's attending has your app downloaded on their phone, keeping them up to date on the agenda, and there's push notifications, engaging with them about the next speaker that's going up, and all this stuff. And this is very relevant for what you're doing right now, because if you can land a sponsorship deal, let me ask you this question. Would it be worth using one of your credits or spending $300 to get in front of 300 to 500 lawyers with the opportunity for all of them to go mobile and the opportunity for all of them to go in your marketing services that we've talked about? Absolutely. Great business model. Now listen, we're also starting to roll out premium apps. Premium apps are more around the $500 price point because they're very heavy in content, but I wanted to show you this. This one is fresh off the press. This is just, we're really taking this platform to new levels, and we're really pushing this platform to do things that we haven't seen before. And here's an example of someone that's a vacation rental, holiday rental type thing. There's a ton of inventory of homes that can be rented in this local area out in, I think this is Australia. But up here in the top right-hand corner on the left-hand side, you see that little arrow? This app is not done. It's not live. It's still under construction. I grabbed it because I wanted to give you a preview of this today. That button, if you click on that button, which we're going to do a better job at making that button very obvious, but if you look over here to the right, that sidebar pops up. Now, you see the picture behind the sidebar? If you look to the left, that picture is a slider. It's pictures that just change. It's just slider images that change. And then when you pull the sidebar up, you see all these things. The booking right there, events, all the accommodation inventory is there. This is an insane app. It's awesome. It's bitchin', and I just want you guys to think about some of the work that we can do when you see this. Other, wine tours and wineries, and I just popped a couple in here. Sports teams. This is the SoCal Coyotes, which is a AAA football team here, Palm Springs, California. An amazing app. Look on the right-hand side how we use the microphone feature. Ask the coach. That feature right there is the most popular feature for this app. After the game, they're hammering the coach, and he loves it because he wants himself on the front lines. He wants to interact with his people. Talk about engagement. I mean, would that be a good hook for if you're a fan of this team, be able to download the app and watch the games from your phone or tablet, because that's another feature through the app, or ask the coach after, why did you do that? Why did you sit so-and-so on the sidelines? Anyway, lots of fun. This is my wife's app called the My Epic Life List. It's all about some of the really cool things that we do, and it's kind of bucket list activity. All right, real quick, meet James, 23 years old. I think he's 24 now. Started in 2012, sold over 150 apps, made over $365,000. And the way he was doing it was he was selling apps for $2,000 to $3,000. Basically, his price point was $2,650. You pay half now, and you pay half when this gets approved in Apple. And like clockwork, he was just raking it in. He's clearly over $500,000 in revenue in this business model now. He's since incorporated a lot of the local marketing stuff that we talked about, and he's really starting to take his business to new levels, but this is where it all started. He didn't even have mobile websites in his arsenal. He only used mobile apps. All right, let's go into the 1-2 punch. The 1-2 punch, boom! You use the mobile websites as your left hook, and the mobile apps as your right cross. Mobile websites is your hook to land clients, and then you offer the mobile apps for the big pop, $2,000 to $5,000. Now, the part that I don't have on here is all the stuff that Shelby talked about at the beginning of this training. All of the other local marketing services. It's all about first getting in front of the prospective client. Then it's about closing them. Now, once you have a client, it's about maximizing the revenue you make per client, which means you got to give good client customer service. You got to be able to deliver on that first sale, and then chances are you'll be able to get him on the upgrades, meaning sell the additional services. If you solve a couple problems for that lawyer initially and he has a really good experience, he's going to be more likely to buy more stuff from you because you become an expert in their view. So what we like to do is we talk about like the bases in baseball, to use a baseball analogy. You know, I think it's important that you have to get a commitment to first base before you start talking about first, second, third, and all these bases. You gotta sell the easiest stuff first. To me, I think that's the mobile site. And then there's other pieces of the local marketing that I'll let Jeff get into, where we talk about, you know, what really is that second base and what is that third base. And I'm going to call on you, Jeff, here in just a second, because you've used mobile websites big time in your business just to land clients. So I'll tee this up to you in a second here. Let me go through some more of this. It's the this is now where we have shifted, just so everybody's keeping up with me. I know I'm going fast here, but we are now talking about mobile websites. And everybody that's on this training call right now has access to the Go Mobile website, mobile website builder. Okay, so you all have access to this. It's the easiest locally marketing product to sell, period. It's the easiest for the business owner to understand. It's powerful visual proof. Look, before and after. Here's what your brain looks like on drugs, and here's what it looks like not on drugs, right? It's like, here's your site not mobile optimized. Doesn't look good, does it? Here's your site mobile optimized. Ah, the light goes off. There's not a lot of words that have to go into that sales pitch. Before and after, with their own eyes, they can draw the conclusion that, wow, that's a solution. That looks much better than what I currently have. It's a low to no cost of goods sold to deploy. You know how much it costs? It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to open up the mobile website builder, go in there and create a mock-up, which we teach you how to do in the videos. It should only take you 10 to 20 minutes max going to the lawyer's website, grabbing some images, grabbing some content, dialing in the directions in GPS, dialing in the one-click call, just the, you know, the key features that'll get the point across. And that costs you nothing. Now, once the lawyer takes advantage of that mobile website from you, you may charge them $200, $300, $400, $500. But then the $5 per month hosting kicks in. Again, negligible amount. That's nothing. It's the best bait for landing local clients, period. And I will show you some examples on that. But first, before we do that, Jeff, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent, excellent. Jeff, you and I have had a lot of fun with this over the last couple of years in exchanging ideas on how best to use mobile websites to land clients. Now, specifically, I want to target how to land lawyers and law firms using mobile websites. If you want to share some of your strategies and ideas, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think the key is, like you say here, it's the powerful visual proof and the fact that they are so image conscious. You know, they know that their image is key to their success, and if they have one component of their marketing that is the weak link, that's where they're going to be losing their business. And for so many of them, mobile is that weak link. And it's even more important for lawyers to fix that weak link because they're spending so much money on other advertising mediums. So I love the ideas about incorporating, you know, the QR codes and the business cards and the TV ads and the magazines, whether those are just mobile web pages, mobile landing pages, or leading to mobile applications. It's using mobile to get a better return on their current marketing investment. And by doing it just with the mobile site, the cost for you is so low, but the perceived value and the actual value to the client is very, very high, which naturally leads you into being able to offer them additional services, whether it's pay-per-click or it's their local directories or social media. All of those things tie in perfectly to mobile because they're all better with mobile.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. And talk about the bounce rates that business owners typically see when they don't have a mobile optimized website, when their traffic is coming from a mobile device. I mean, just imagine if you're researching a law firm and it's a struggle to read it on your phone and you just sit there and you're really frustrated. I don't know about you. I don't have time for that. I bounce, I move, I go on. Talk about some of your experience and what you found with bounce rates out there.
Yeah, well, what we've seen with some clients is that before they had the mobile-friendly presence, because their website was so not friendly, they had bounce rates close to 100%, maybe 90%. Just about everybody who landed on their page hit the back button, probably because it took 10 seconds to load. And after
now, if a lawyer hears that, I got to emphasize, if a lawyer hears that, what he just said, that is going to hurt. That is going to hurt bad. That's going to be revealing the biggest wound they have, and they're going to be seeking to fix it immediately, the solution. Go ahead, continue.
Well, and what makes that so much worse for them is they may have spent 20 grand on a TV spot that brought that client to them, and then that prospect tried to land on their mobile site and then they lost it. So they've got such a huge investment. Their cost per acquisition for each lead is very high, and so conversion becomes much more important to them. And so by putting a mobile-friendly landing page that's going to load more quickly and give people the information that they need and give them a quick call to action, we've seen conversion rates upwards of 20, 30, even 40%, because you present just the information they need, you tell them what they want, what you want them to do, and you make it easy for them to do so. So the conversion is either the person making a phone call, submitting an email form, or sending in an email. So actually making
booking
contact.
a consultation, exactly.
Just a side note to add to what you're saying, just as an FYI, when people bounce off your site, that tells Google, hey, this site is not supplying what my searchers are looking for. I'm going to stop putting that site in front of these search terms. One of the critical things that can kill your site faster than anything else is a high bounce rate. So just another selling point.
I hope you all wrote that down. I hope you all wrote that down, because if you start telling the law firms that they're actually getting hurt by Google, not only are you getting hurt with bounce rates, but you are getting knocked further down the pecking order here because you're not offering the right type of content to the intended searcher. Yeah, that's a big one.
And it's becoming more important to Google every day. They've got a huge emphasis on mobile, and they continue to change their recommendations to emphasize that you need to be mobile friendly. And I talk about in the training a little bit that they've specifically said that sites without a mobile friendly presence are going to be penalized. You're going to rank lower if you don't have a mobile friendly presence, because Google's #1 mission is to give people what they're looking for. If they give people what they're looking for, they can keep selling ads. Well, if your website doesn't give people what they're looking for, then they're not going to show it to their users.
And 90% to 100% bounce rates tells Google you're not giving them what they're looking for. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You know, one other thing that you brought up that I also want to point out is this whole optimize for conversion concept. You see, if you go to a regular website, typically it's like everything about us, about the firm, and here's this and all this stuff. Like there's exhaustive content. Whereas in mobile, less is more. And you're really just trying to keep the searchers or the people that land on these sites focused so that you can drive the intended result. Now that's different for everyone, but the intended result for this law firm might be, I want people to book a consultation, the free consultation. Or the intended result may be, I want them to call my office. Whatever the intended result is, we optimize these mobile websites so that when the traffic hits, they know exactly what they need to do. They don't have to search and find how to engage. They can literally click to call, click for directions, click to sign up, click to register for a one-on-one consultation. All this stuff becomes really simple, really focused, therefore the conversion numbers go up. And Att0Rney, you know that. I mean, you've been dealing with landing pages and why they're so effective and why they're optimized for conversion. It's like people just want to be directed. They want to get their information, they want it easy, and they want to be directed with what to do. They don't want to have to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, especially when you're looking on from a mobile device, and this is actually just a question that came through. So, like, is mobile websites sort of like, supposed to be set up sort of like a mobile landing page? And essentially, I would say yes, in the fact that, their main website might have all these different links and tabs and places to go and this and that, and it's just information overload. And especially when when someone's on a mobile device with a smaller screen, you want to eliminate all of that, information overload, and really just boil it down to the most important parts. And you want to really kind of step people through, a process, right? So it's like, okay, they get to the mobile site, it's on their phone, they clearly have now 4 or 5 options or a couple of options to choose from, and they just choose that. If they're interested in that option, they choose the one option, and it takes them down that path. So you really want to eliminate all of the clutter and information overload, especially when someone's searching from a mobile device, and that's what these sites do.
Absolutely. Good stuff right there. Now, I want to give everyone a strategy that I encourage you to test out. It's something that our mastermind members are testing out now, and we're seeing some really good results. And it's using the mobile site as bait to actually land the appointments with the attorneys. Okay? So if you use the Go Mobile Lead Automator, you find all of the target prospects that are in your niche, and by the way, it can be any niche, but in this case we're talking about lawyers, and you find the ones that don't have the mobile websites, which is a feature you have in the mobile, the Go Mobile Lead Automator, and you can use the email system to send out emails directly to them. You can get someone outbound calling, whatever it is, you're going to put the message out there that you're offering a free mobile website for your business, basically for scheduling an appointment to sit down with you and talk about their marketing. So I'm going to just kind of give you an example. You can do this in so many different ways, but imagine an email that went out with a before and after screenshot of that particular lawyer's website. A little bit more work there, right? Because you have to go and you grab the screenshot and then you've already done the mock-up and you show him before and after of his own site. And let's say it says, this could be you with a big arrow. Call now to find out how to get this free for your business. Now, of course, you get the manager of the law firm, or if it's a small practice, the law firm, the lawyer himself will call you and say, so what's the catch? Right? Lawyers are always looking for a catch. What's the catch? And here's what it is. I am in this local community sharing with lawyers and law firms how to leverage mobile in their business to land more clients. Would that be something of interest to you? Well, of course, the guy says, well, yeah. Okay, then what we're offering is a free mobile website if you'll commit to let me come and share with you how to leverage mobile in your business. Does Wednesday at 10 a.m. or Thursday at 2 p.m. work better for you? And of course, said, well, let me check my schedule. How about Wednesday, 10 a.m.? Okay, fine. And here's the whole idea. You can have mobile websites built in 20 minutes. You can hire your kids to build mobile websites. I'll tell you right now, Michael Elf has his 15-year-old building mobile websites, and he pays her $20 a pop. Okay, the kid, now he's inspiring her with an entrepreneurial, basically he's getting his child into doing some business and expanding on creativity and having fun with this, plus making some money and learning all kinds of really cool stuff. He's going out and using that to close his clients with. You can hire outsourcers. You can hire people at $2 and $3 an hour in the Philippines. You can do whatever you want, but you can give these mobile websites away for free if they'll commit to sitting down with you for at least an hour. And then you're going to ask questions, and I'm not going to get into all that stuff right now. You can go through some of the training on that, but that's how you start getting into your mobile application discussion. That's how you start getting into all the local marketing service discussion. And at the end of the presentation, if you sell them anything, you're going to be fine with giving them a free mobile website. Now, in the event that you don't sell them, should you still give them the free mobile website? Absolutely. Because what you'll do is you'll make the following requirement. We'll go ahead and deploy the mobile website for you, and I'd like to schedule an appointment in 30 days for me to come back and talk about the experience and talk about more strategies, etc. Well, all you're doing is giving yourself another bite at the apple. 30 days later, you go back out, and chances are they've received some positive feedback from their audience. It's like it's like getting a new hairdo. It's like, man, that site's really cool. It's like, they start getting this positive feedback. It reinforces their decision. Now you're back in front of them, and you know what? They trust you a lot more than they did from the beginning. You delivered results in advance. Okay, so that is a strategy I think you should try, whether it be through direct mail, email, phone calls, whatever advertising methods that you're, social media, whatever you're going to deploy, use mobile websites as your hook to land more appointments. So that's, what do you think of that strategy? All right, so I'm going to go through this quickly, but this is going to make a point that was interesting. This was last year. My kids, I was getting them into surf camp. And I called and talked to this guy, and first he was selling me on everything, like why his camp was the best camp, et cetera, et cetera. And then before I got off the call, because I'm always a deal maker, I started saying, hey, I found you online through my mobile device, and did you know that your site's not mobile optimized? You know what he said? He said, oh yeah, I know. I've been talking about that. I've just been so busy. My webmasters told me about it. I know. I get customers telling me all the time. I know I need to do something. I just haven't had the time to do it. And I said, well, I'm in the business, and I'd be willing to do a barter where I'll do it for you in exchange for the summer camp, which is like $750. Well, here's what ends up happening. We build the mobile website, and I delayed reaching out to him. I reached out to him. I says, hey, I'm ready to go. My girls are going to start on Monday. He sent me back a text message that says, nah, man, I'm way too busy. I didn't even know we were confirmed. Read this email here. I recall talking about it, but I didn't hear anything. My fault, basically. The problem is I'm booked. I got 13 kids. I don't want to do the other issue. If you were a paying customer, winky face, I'd make it work. But since you're working a trade, I have to assess that first. I just don't have a plate full of time to do that. Some of these people paid $3.70. Look what just happened. This guy turned into a prick. I mean, at first he was selling me on why his service and all that stuff was great and why I needed to go down that path. And then I got him interested in this barter. But then when I reached out back to him, he totally flipped on me because now I'm selling him something. Well, watch what happens. I sent a text message. Jazz, did you see your mobile app yet? Also, here's your mobile site. You're going to think I'm a freaking ninja. My best guys worked on both your app and your site. Look what he said. Uh-oh, I think I like it. And he hadn't even seen the app yet. We put in a Surfline report in the mobile website and all this different stuff. Well, guess what happened? We did the barter. $750 worth for both my girls to go to surf camp for a week, all because I sent this text message. Now, this is another strategy. Why did I send a text message from my phone to his phone? Because I knew that he would open it up on what? His phone. And it worked. And I've done this more. I've done this time and time again. Like, this is how to show someone their mobile site. Text it right to their phone. And I closed the deal. I mean, he just loved the way this looked. It's got it all nice and organized with an accordion style. When you click on lessons, it'll expand. Surf report, it would expand. Discount specials, sign up, pay now. He loved it. So anyway, hey, I have the boys confirmed for Bonsai Camp this week. Bam, bam, bam. Close the deal. This was a reseller dentist that he retired. He was looking for a way to make extra income. He creates mock-up mobile websites for dentists in less than 15 minutes. He took a list of 51 dentists. Only one of them had a mobile optimized site, and he sent mock-ups just like this. Here's the before and after I was talking about. Screenshots right in the email. He sent it out to 8, landed 4 of them. It's this simple. You don't have to sell. I don't have to sell you on why this looks better than this. You can see it with your own eyes. That's why it's the easiest product to sell in local marketing. Hey, Jeff, single father of 3, quit his job to do this full time. Was landing clients, dentists, and now attorneys, and I mean, his numbers have gone, his numbers have mushroomed since I did this, and this was probably about a year ago when I did this slide. Do you want to talk about any of this, Jeff?
So I think that's one of the conversion examples right there. That is a dentist site. That's just showing the huge increase in traffic that they had by getting the mobile-friendly presence. I think the next slide we talked about the conversion. So they had 89 new leads for that particular dentist in 1 month.
Got it. And this is where you did some case studies. The 94% of the mobile users for Castle Rock were bouncing.
Yeah, so this one was more about the conversion that they were getting, and they had a 30% conversion. So 3 out of 10 people coming to their website became leads.
15 new patient leads in 30 days. So this is what the lawyers want. They want more clients. Here's an example of a mobile optimized website for a dentist, basically using the Castle Rock case study. What did they like best about this mobile site, Jeff?
Well, obviously the one on the left, you can't read it. So the call us feature and the coupon, they get quite a few redemptions for that coupon.
Look how optimized it is. It's like I don't have to figure out what to click to do. I mean, look, it's right there. If I click the red button, I call the firm. If I click the orange button, I can email them. And if I want to take advantage of this offer, I redeem this offer by clicking the silver button. Pretty darn simple. You'll find that attorneys may want to create these mobile me sites. Real estate agents, they use the mobile website builder to create personal business cards. And this is kind of the digital age. Instead, the lawyers are still handing out those old business cards, but a lot of them that are getting more progressive here are starting to create these nice, cool digital cards. And you can offer that with the mobile website builder as well. One of my favorite, the Wine Coach, which someone that joined us 3 years ago and has a great mobile app in the marketplace, was rated by American Express Departures magazine as was 1 out of 5 as one of the top 5 mobile apps for wine, in the world. But we also did a mobile website for her. You can put your videos, social media connections. Here's another one of Jeff's websites, mobile websites. So Go Mobile websites are powerful. You can build mock-up demos to close clients. We started this, when we first started with Go Mobile. This is so powerful to have a mock-up where you walk in delivering results in advance. They see their own image, their brand, their logo, their face on your mobile device. They like it. They love it. You close on that emotion. You can sell mobile websites for up to $500. If you sell them for more, I think you might be overcharging, at least for just the mobile website. I think if you do a mobile application and a mobile website for a couple of grand as a bundle, that's a much more viable package to offer. But if you end up not being able to close a client on all the other services that you offer, you still want to make some money, assuming you didn't offer to give it away for free, then feel comfortable charging anywhere from $300 to $400 to $500 for the mobile site. All right, so that's what I have, guys. Any questions on any of this? Jeff, do you have anything more that you want to say about it?
I just want to touch on two of the ideas that you covered that I think are really, really powerful and that everybody should take away from the call. And one was something that I've talked about a lot, and that's giving away the mobile sites as a way to get in front of people. Whether you do it as a small dollar sale or just flat out give it away, it's so visual, it makes for a great show and tell and a great demonstration, and it improves all of their other marketing so they can see and feel the results from it pretty quickly. So it can get you in front of people, and it can get you there for that follow-up appointment to be able to sell the additional services. The other one that you dropped here that I don't think we've covered recently is the event sponsorship idea. I think that is a fantastic idea in the attorney market because there are always lawyer conferences, and being able to sponsor the app puts you front and center. And for these conferences, a lot of times they're going for continuing education reasons, things of that nature. So there's lots of great use cases for building those event apps as a way to get your foot in the door and get your face in front of a lot more lawyers.
And by the way, you don't have to figure out what those use cases are because we're getting really good at that stuff. So it's a matter of relying on Go Mobile to do the work for you and build the right app for that organization, conference, or seminar, whatever it is that you're going to. Of course, as you get better at this, you'll find some really cool things that you'll want to direct our staff to make sure that we incorporate into our fulfillment. But we know how to deliver on an event app. And I gotta, what you're saying, Jeff, it's all about one-to-many versus one-on-one. It's all about how can I get volume sales. And when you get into environments where you have multiple targets, and if you can deliver a short, succinct presentation that gets the job done, you're signing up more clients. You're signing up a volume of clients.
Wendell's saying that he did a mobile site for a restaurant here in Maui. Lucky Wendell living in Maui, and in 2 months they had over 1,200 visits from the mobile sites he created for them. So that's a nice, cool comment there.
Awesome, Wendell. Awesome. Brian had a question here too. He says, how do you market an event app? Do you go to the organization and say, I created this app, use it for your event? So Brian, I'll tell you, yeah. I mean, it basically, you need to figure out who's coordinating this event. Like, they're going to have event coordinators. And, what I would do is I would contact the people that sell sponsorships. Okay, they sell sponsorships for 10, 20 grand, and you get a booth, and you get a speaking slot, you get some brochures and the giveaway bags, all that good stuff, right? And you just present the opportunity to sponsor in a different way. So instead of paying the 20 grand, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to create a mobile app for the event if you haven't already committed to one. Show them Underground X. Write that down. Underground X. When you dial that up in the app stores, put it on your phone and show it to them. Send them the link so they can download it too. That'll get, again, it's not for a lawyer conference, but it'll get the point across on how best to use a mobile app for the conference. But yeah, do this in exchange of paying for sponsorship. This way you pay Go Mobile $300. 3 to 500, and when I say 500, if we're going to get real elaborate with content, we can get into that later. But that is a very small price to pay to get a $10,000 or $20,000 sponsorship package. And like Jeff said, put you front and center, and put you in every single attendee's pocket, because they start to rely on the app. They become dependent on the app for their information of what's coming up next. They start to look through the app to see, do I want to go to this track or do I want to go to this track? It becomes very useful. And when it's your time to shine in the light, you've already been shining all weekend. They've already been using your product. So it's a great strategy.
Yeah, another question here. Wendell's asking, Damien, some clients don't even have regular websites. What info do you need for them to get a mobile landing page? Well, I would say if they don't have a regular website, then you'd want to sell them on the website service, which we haven't really touched on today, but we have an awesome outsourcer for real attorney websites, full-on, attorney websites, not just landing pages, because landing pages are great, and if you're doing Google AdWords, you're always going to want to send the traffic to a landing page. Mobile landing pages are great, but in the end of the day, most attorneys, most lawyers want to have that website that has all those links on it and the whole deal. That's just like their presence online as well, right? So they want people to be able to find their main website that has, all the links about us and this and that, and so that is, we have an outsourcer that can do that, where you can charge $3,000. We feel confident and comfortable saying that you can charge $3,000 for that website, and they only charge you $1,000. The outsourcers that we have for that, and they create all, it's all unique content. These are not duplicate, templated sites. These are WordPress sites, and they're gonna really, obviously they're gonna get some content from the attorney themselves, information about them and about their firm and all that. But bottom line, these are unique, custom, real websites. So $3,000 is nothing for an attorney to pay on a website. I know attorneys who have spent $10,000 on a website. So that'd be the first step if they don't have any presence at all. And another thing is that even the ones that do have a presence, every year or two they get bored of it or tired of it, or they don't like the way it looks or something. They always want new websites. It's a huge need in the marketplace. So that's the first thing I would say is, if they don't have any website at all, you'd want to get them on a regular website first, and that's a nice $3,000 sale, and you only pay $1,000. That's completely done for you. So that's a nice $2,000 profit there that you would have. So again, you see how you have all these services in the toolbox. It's not just like, we're not just showing you one angle, right? It's like, okay, yeah, here you go. You have SEO. Oh, you don't want SEO? Oh, okay, but you do want reputation management, which is really SEO anyway. Okay, yeah, we can help with that. Oh, you need social media? We can help with that. You want to generate new leads from Google AdWords? You want to be the top of Google? Yeah, we can help with that. You need a mobile website? You need a new website? You need a mobile app? Yeah, we can help with that. Pretty much anything they need, you can provide for them. So that's really what this is all about. So we hope you can really kind of see all that coming together here.
Like, think about, are you able to see this on the screen, Talor? John Della Costa?
Yep.
I mean, if you're John, how does this look? I mean, this is you. Like, this is your image. You're the lawyer. You're putting yourself out there. Now think about the website that's not mobile optimized, and then look at this. Like, how do you feel if you're John? Does this get your attention?
Yeah, I mean, this is something, and this is where you're also going to be educating them, okay, right? So we always talk about education-based marketing, and we talk about that a lot in the training program as well. And when you're landing these attorneys, you want to educate them a little. So you're going to want to educate them, and one of those things is that you're going to want to educate them on the fact that you don't want information overload on their mobile site. You want to make it very easy to use. The goal is for people to call the office for a free consultation. So you're giving them, like on that last slide you had there, Damien. They have a video. They have a video there. It was call now. It was, it was very straightforward information. So you want to educate them on that fact, right? You want to see, send us a message, call us now, directions, and they have a video right there, right? Those are the main things. You don't see a blog. You don't see all types of different information and information overload. So that's really what you want to do from a mobile device. If you want to generate leads from mobile devices, you got to really keep it simple. So that's kind of a way that you're going to do it. So yeah, absolutely. I think they're definitely going to be very interested, and not to mention the fact that you can talk about the increase in their traffic and the increase in conversions and lowering the bounce rate, and show them all these mobile statistics and things like that. Jeff provides you with a PowerPoint presentation in the members area. You have a PowerPoint presentation about mobile and the huge, all the benefits that you can actually do online, online or over the phone, or in person with these attorneys, that basically talks about all these benefits of why they need to go mobile and the bounce rates and how people go to your competitor's site if you don't have a mobile site. And all those things are just great tools for you to use to sell attorneys on these services.
a question that I definitely want to address. It was a question about mobile responsive. That's a big question. Like, well, wait a minute. Well, why do I need a mobile website? I can just build a mobile responsive website. So I support mobile responsive websites. I think if you're going to build a website, you might as well build it mobile responsive. But it's very different than the mobile websites that we're putting out. See, what's happening with a responsive designed website is you're taking the entire website and you're squishing it down into smaller screens. So with the mobile web that we're showing, you're building a unique standalone mobile website that's optimized for conversion, and whatever that conversion means to this particular lawyer. You know, instead of just the solution of squishing down the entire desktop website into smaller screens. So I prefer this. I mean, this I believe, and by the way, you'll find that some attorneys may want 1, 2, 3, 4 mobile websites. Why? Because maybe they want to focus each mobile website around the various areas of law that they practice in. You know, we didn't touch on that. Att0Rney, why don't you touch on that with the whole, 2 and 3 deals in one pot?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something that's a great thing. That's why I love attorneys, is because the fact that they have so much opportunity to scale up and so much opportunity for you to get more business from them because of that, right? So, most attorneys practice in more than one area of the law. And so in addition to that, when you get great results for them, they're going to continue to expand into other areas of the law. In fact, I'm asking my big attorney clients, I ask them, I'm like, hey, so I'm like, all right, well, we're doing great in these 4 areas of the law that we're doing marketing for you in. Like what other? I'm like, come on, let's think bigger, man. Who else can you hire? What other area of practice can you get involved with and hire some attorney out of law school so we can do marketing for that area of the law, and you can get a good return on investment without having to do all the work, right? So that's like the real entrepreneurial attorneys, the real smart ones that are entrepreneurs. They see the value in having great marketing and being able to generate leads and not having to do all the work themselves. So hiring other attorneys that practice in those different areas and just bringing them in under their firm. So that creates lots of opportunities. They might want a mobile landing page for family law. They might want a mobile landing page for personal injury, right? So there's lots of different opportunities here, and definitely with Google AdWords, it would be a separate landing page and separate campaign, and that's how they can really scale up very, very quickly, because they're operating in multiple areas of the law.
Yeah, just to add to that, each area of practice absolutely should have its own either mobile site or at least page on the mobile site. If you send all of the traffic to one page, Google doesn't really like that. People aren't finding the information that they're looking for. So you want to make sure that they go to a relevant page for whatever it is that they searched for.
Absolutely.
Hey, Brian, you asked a really good question. The biggest problem I have is positioning how to ask for the money. My first answer to you is you have to ask for the money. That's where most people fail, is not asking at all. The second area that most people fail is they don't have the right to ask for the money because they didn't do all of the stuff beforehand to give them that right to ask for the money. What is that stuff beforehand? It's what we've talked about. It's the consultation. It's asking them the right questions, getting the answers. Those basically developing a custom presentation to their needs. We're not talking about a cookie cutter package when it comes to local marketing. We're literally delivering, the solution for that particular attorney. And I think, as you go through the training and the training site, there's a lot more detail around how to arrive at that point where you get to ask for the sale, but you've got to earn the right to ask for the sale by showing a solution that's custom to them. At which point, you start getting them. Can you see how this will work in your business? Yeah. Can you see how this will be more effective with a QR code on the advertising you're currently doing? Yeah. Can you see how this feature would work for your audience and why they would like it? Yeah. You start getting this, what we call the yes momentum, because you're asking them questions you already know they're going to say yes to, okay? Because you've already been watching them throughout the presentation nod their head and say yes and this and that. That's when you earn the right to ask for the sale, and then you just got to do it. You got to make sure you ask for the sale. Most people die right there. They're afraid to ask for the sale. Remember, what you have is gold. What you have, they need. They're sick. They're sick right now, and you are the medicine. I mean, you're the solution to solving this problem. Once you identified this problem of how bad they look on a website when someone's searching on mobile device, they suddenly are sick, and you need to solve that problem first. Then you start talking about all the money they're wasting. What about the lawyers that are spending money on full-page, yellow page ads? I mean, wow, they're spending a lot of money, and it's another area where they're sick. What you have will solve their problems, and as you demonstrate that, that will earn the right to ask for the sale. Just be confident first in what you have to offer here. Ask yourself this question. When you look at the before and after, does it look better or not? If it does, then be confident that what you're delivering is exactly what they want and exactly what they need, and get rid of those thoughts of, well, what if they don't like it, or what if they don't think it's right, or what? Forget it. Because first, convince yourself first that what you have is gold. That is so important. And then it will just naturally come out, your confidence. And once you make that first sale, that's another thing I'm going to tell everybody before we end this training, because we're closing in on the we're going to be closing in on the end here. But this is big right here. If you haven't closed your first attorney, if you haven't closed your first sale yet, I want you to do anything you possibly can to close that first attorney. Even if it means you got to give them a mobile website for $100 and a mobile app for $100. I know that sounds ridiculous, but you know what happens in that case? You closed a sale. And all the stuff that you just have to experience that I can't really train you on is all of the confidence that will build naturally once you've closed that first sale. I cannot tell you how important that first sale is. And the other thing is, now you have a portfolio that's starting. So even if you did take the three mobile websites and the 3 mobile apps and used it and fire sold them to land your first 3 lawyers, well, guess what? When you're in front of that 4th lawyer, you're going to have a lot more credibility because you can point to the 3 mobile sites and the 3 mobile apps that you're personally responsible for. And hopefully you were able to make a few bucks on that. But again, land that first customer. Make it a point to land your first customer this week, tomorrow, today, because that's when all the magic starts to happen.
Yeah, and just to further that, Damien, that's a big thing. I know, like, when I have great success when I'm speaking with attorneys, because I know for a fact, like, I know in my mind, I know for a fact that there's nobody that can get better results for them than I can. And so that's what I want everyone listening right now to really, take in and feel that way, and that's going to help you, land way more clients and get way better results, to know that they need your help right now. They desperately need your help. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in most cases to get their practice up and running, and they're not getting enough business, and you, with Shelby's outsourcing team, you're going to be able to get them better results than just about anyone else that we can possibly think of. So have total confidence in that. With the Google AdWords stuff and the pre-written landing pages and the done-for-you, keywords and ads and the whole exactly how to set up the campaign step by step, you're going to get better results for them than anyone else can. Right? With the mobile websites, with the mobile apps, everything that you have in your toolbox, you're going to be able to do better for them than just about anyone else could. So really have that confidence, and when you know that, then you'll feel a lot more confident when you're speaking with these attorneys, and when you have that confidence, they're going to see it. It's going to shine, and they're going to see it, and they're going to hire you. People want to hire people who are very confident in what they're doing, and so that's what you want to do. And again, also what Damien said, do whatever it takes. I always preach this, do whatever it takes to land your first couple clients. With the Google AdWords services, you can offer to do a trial run for them. Say, hey, you just pay for the ads. We'll do a $500 or a $1,000 test run, and I'm going to prove to you that you're going to get results from this, and you pay me my fee after we sign on long term, after I prove you results in this trial run. So there's very little risk for them there. Like Damien said, offering something at a very low cost just to get in the door, to build a portfolio, to build a relationship, and then offer them other services after that. Very, very important. Do whatever it takes to get your first
and get referrals,
clients, and get referrals. Yeah, that's a big thing. Once you start getting results for a couple of attorneys, guess what? They have lots of other attorneys that practice in other areas of the law. They all go to their lawyer meetings and association meetings and all this kind of stuff, and a lot of them refer business to each other because many of them practice in different areas of the law. So if you land a personal injury attorney and you get great results for them, they're probably going to refer you to an immigration attorney or a family law attorney or a real estate attorney, and so on and so forth. So yeah, very important that you just go out there and do it. Don't hold back. Move forward. Feel confident because you have all of the best resources and tools to fulfill and get these people results. So really have that confidence. And I mean, that's it. I think, guys, I think we're going to wrap up now. We've been on a little longer than we expected. So let's wrap up at this time. And again, thanks, Shelby. Thank you so much for being on the call here today. Thanks, Jeff, and thanks, Damien. That was really awesome. And if anyone has any other questions, make sure you can email support@attorneyprofitformula.com. Again, that's support@attorneyprofitformula.com if you have any other questions. We should have another training webinar here in the near future as well. So keep an eye out on your email and look for that as well. So we really hope you can appreciate everything that we've put together here for you, all the resources we're providing you with that you have at your fingertips here. You know, and again, have that confidence because you have pretty much any service these lawyers need, you can provide for them, and you can get them better results than just about anyone else can. So move forward and go there and land those clients. And again, thanks again to Damien, Jeff, and Shelby, and thanks for everyone listening right now. Damien, you want to sign them off with your traditional sign off?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you, Shelby. Thank you for joining us today. That was awesome, and thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Att0Rney. Thank you, man. Att0Rney, you led a great training webinar today, and I really enjoyed it. And folks, I hope you enjoyed it too. And like Att0Rney said, I hope you find that this product is one of the best products that you've come in contact with, because not only the four of us on this phone, but many staff members went into the creation of it and just met a lot of time. We gave this our heart and soul. We put all the best of our stuff into this product launch, and I hope that you feel that way. And by the way, this will be an evolving product. You're going to see more mobile web examples, more mobile app examples in the training site, more training modules as we create them. So it's not a static product that you bought. This is a product that will evolve while you evolve, because what you need to do is you need to take action right now, and you need to go out there. You need to use these tools that we've given you. Use the fact that Shelby's going to close that first deal for you. Use the mobile websites that you can give away for free. Use the mobile apps that GoMobile can build for $300. I mean, you've got it all right here. If you want to make a difference, it's all about taking action. And with that, guys, I want to say thank you again for your time. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Go mobile or go home, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye now.